everyone, Ewan from What Culture here with the Star Wars list all about yours, ours, and everyone's favourite Sith Lord, Darth Vader. As a younger man, Anakin Skywalker was one of the most powerful Jedi Knights to serve in the Jedi Order, but this all sorta changed when he up and left for the dark side, and Obi-Wan chopped him into tiny pieces and left him to burn like the Griswold family's Christmas turkey. Eesh. And so, for the remainder of his life, Darth Vader would serve the Galactic Empire. He was respected and feared throughout the galaxy, and after hearing of his feats of raw strength and skill, it's easy to understand why. So, I'm that other guy you know called Ewan, this is What Culture, and here are the 10 most powerful things Darth Vader ever did, in the new Star Wars canon. Number 10. Rejected a vision where he returned to the light side. Darth Vader, number 5. Although Darth Vader would eventually redeem himself at the end of Return of the Jedi, this only occurred after more than 20 years of oppressing what was left of Anakin Skywalker. One early instance of this happened right after Vader had battled surviving Jedi Kirak Infala for his lightsaber. Once he had claimed the weapon, Vader was told to go to Mustafar in order to make the Kyber crystal inside bleed, i.e. pouring all of his rage and hatred into it so that it would be corrupted and produce a red blade, which is oddly the same creative process the comment section seems to go through whenever I bring up how much I love The Last Jedi. As Vader went about doing this, the energy inside the crystal forced him to hallucinate a different series of events in order to dissuade him from carrying out the attack. Within the vision, Vader turned his back on the dark side by traveling to Coruscant and killing Emperor Palpatine. Once that was done, he found Obi-Wan Kenobi and begged for forgiveness for the atrocities he had committed. Everything seemed to be going well for a moment, until Obi-Wan referred to him as Anakin, which enraged Vader enough to dismiss the hallucinations entirely and complete the bleeding process. Number 9. Crushed a heart with the Force. Tarkin. Vader was always strong with the Force, no matter what side he was using it for, and the brutal ways in which he would utilize it against his opponents just goes to prove this. The 2014 novel Tarkin chronicles the life and experiences of everyone's favourite Grand Moff, seriously, what does that even mean, before the events of A New Hope. Early on in the book, Darth Vader joins Tarkin in a mission to the planet Mercana to confront a gang of criminals, which is where Vader demonstrates his aptitude, shall we say, for the Force. When the talks begin to turn violent, Vader decides to take action in a particularly aggressive way, this being to use the Force to crush one of the criminal's heart so that he dies quickly and painfully. Jesus, Vader! Look, the choking I can abide, but heart exploding? That's a yikes from me. Number 8. Killed his former master. A New Hope, 1977. Obi-Wan Kenobi has always been my favourite Star Wars character. Yes, I'm sure that maybe the fact I share the first name as the fella who played him in the prequels probably had something to do with that when I was 3 years old, but still, there is so much to admire about the character, especially the way his death plays out in A New Hope. Although their confrontation was short, one duel was all it took before Obi-Wan realized what he had to do to defeat Darth Vader. Stop fighting back and allow his former apprentice to strike him down, which Vader swiftly did whilst Luke Skywalker watched on in visible horror. Although Vader only won the duel because Obi-Wan simply yielded the fight, the fact that Vader was able to go through with it and kill his master speaks volumes about how far he was lost to the dark side at this point in time. All the friendships, relationships, and good memories that Anakin Skywalker had experienced meant nothing to Vader, evident in the fact that he was able to kill Obi-Wan without so much as a second thought. Number 7. Executed a large number of TWI'LEK troops. Lords of the Sith. Together, Old Chief Palpatine and Darth Vader were two of the most dominant individuals in the galaxy, with the two of them able to sustain an entire galactic-wide rule for close to 20 years. Fleets of starships and millions of stormtroopers were at their command, and with all of that power at their disposal, it's no surprise that the two committed various atrocities while they were ruling the galaxy. Case in point, the 2015 novel Lords of the Sith, in which Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader joined the fray alongside their soldiers to stop a rebellion on the planet Ryloth. After the TWI'LEK insurgents hijacked an Imperial ship, Vader used his own ship as a battering ram to force the insurgents to crash land. Once they were captured, Vader and his master decided on the most bloodthirsty course of action that anyone could possibly think of, and ordered their soldiers to execute the TWI'LEK troops one by one, whilst the insurgent general could hear over the ship's communications. Oh boy. Number 6. Killed 5 Imperial officers at random to teach them all a lesson. Darth Vader, number 12. Many of the Empire's officers did not take kindly to a mysterious figure who suddenly held more power than them, which led to a conspiracy to remove Vader from the Empire permanently. Vader was convinced that a certain individual, Colonel Barocki, was the perpetrator behind a plot to assassinate him. After bringing his concerns to the Emperor, his master told him that it was his problem to solve alone. The Emperor reminded him of the power that he held, which influenced Vader's approach on how to solve the matter, which, yeah, you can probably imagine was pretty gruesome. Gathering all of the Imperial elite, the Emperor formally introduced Darth Vader as his apprentice, telling everyone that any order from Vader should be considered an order from the Emperor also. Vader then also announced that 5 attempts had been made on his life, and that 5 people must suffer in retaliation. Vader selected 5 officers from random from the group, and upon reminding them that he would survive every attempt on his life, proceeded to lift them into the air and force choke them, killing the 5 officers in front of the rest of the high-ranking Imperial officers as a display of his authority and power. Number 5. The Hallway Scene, Rogue One, 2016. Look, Darth Vader has always been scary. Not Papa Palpatine scary, I had to have those bits fast-forwarded when I was 3 because Jesus, wrinkly old lightning man and a rancor was too much to process back then, but still, those robotic breaths instantly set him apart as a creepy customer. And then Rogue One came along and made him 3 times as terrifying. Brilliant! The climax to Gareth Edwards' film is one of the tensest movie-going experiences I've ever had, and totally puts a new hope into a whole other context. With the rebels desperately trying to get the Death Star plans to their nearby blockade runner, Vader enters the scene. He brutally dispatches soldier after soldier as one is left trying to force the data through the door, only to die just as the exchange happens. I mean, what else can you say? Terrifying and badass in equal measure. Number 4. Flooded a city during the duel for a Jedi's lightsaber. Darth Vader, number 4. As mentioned earlier, Darth Vader had to battle Kirak Infala in order to obtain the Jedi's lightsaber so that Vader could complete the first of several trials that Emperor Palpatine had set for him. Infala had survived Order 66, so Palpatine selected him to be the one that Vader killed in order to obtain a new weapon. At first, Vader was no match for Infala. Their first confrontation ended with the fugitive Jedi throwing Vader off a cliff to devastating effect. But after taking some time to recuperate, Darth Vader managed to trace the Jedi to the Amber La City, where the two fought each other again on top of a dam. Vader and Infala weren't alone, however, as their fight was interrupted by city security guards. Frustrated, Darth Vader used the Force to throw the guards off the dam, whilst a horrified Infala used the Force to lower them to safety. Vader then realized the Jedi's weakness, a strong desire to help others, and used it against him. Using the Force yet again, Vader destroyed the dam that the two were fighting on, flooding the whole city beneath them. While the Jedi was distracted by the destruction, Vader took his lightsaber and killed Infala with a Force choke, ignoring his plea to save the innocent citizens below, which is icy cold, goddamn. Number 3. Killed 3 entire Rebel squadrons, Vader down. Kieran Gillen and Salvador Larroca's Darth Vader comics are the absolute pinnacle of Marvel Star Wars books, and Vader Down, the crossover between that comic and the main Star Wars series, is simply phenomenal. After learning of their location, Vader takes his TIE Advanced alone to find the rebels responsible for the destruction of the first Death Star. Upon exiting hyperspace, the Dark Lord of the Sith is met with 3 squadrons of rebel ships, with no assistance whatsoever. Fortunately, this doesn't appear to be a problem for Vader, as he is able to use his superior flying skills to take out Blue Squadron, leaving no survivors. Yellow Squadron attempts to avenge their fellow pilot's deaths, but the next wave of rebels also proves no match for Vader's TIE Advanced, as he kills yet another rebel fighter squadron by himself. Vader is only taken down when Luke Skywalker decides to ram his ship into his, forcing them both to crash land on the nearby planet of Vrogus Vas. Once Vader leaves the wreckage of his ship, he finds himself surrounded by a platoon of rebel soldiers, who claim that they have him surrounded. Vader responds by saying, "All I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men," which may possibly be the coolest thing he's ever said, and possibly the coolest thing anyone's ever said ever. Vader Down shows the Dark Lord utilizing a variety of his skills and talents to take on dozens of rebels without so much as a scratch on his armor. Essential reading for the discerning Star Wars fan. Number 2. Stopped an AT-AT from crushing him. Star Wars number 2. In one of the earlier arcs of Marvel's Star Wars comic, Luke Skywalker finds himself face to face with Darth Vader, with the two of them preparing to engage in a lightsaber duel for the first time. A duel that doesn't really last long, and ends with Vader wielding both blades and threatening to kill Luke if he does not reveal Rebel secrets. Vader is prevented from killing Luke by 2 things: the realization that the lightsaber he is holding is the same one that he wielded as Anakin Skywalker, and the fact that a 70-foot AT-AT walker crashes through the ceiling of the room that he is currently standing in. The walker is piloted by Han Solo and Princess Leia, having stolen it off some Imperial troops earlier. Solo realizes that he has an opportune moment to kill Vader by stepping on him with the AT-AT. This doesn't exactly pan out though, as right before the foot comes down on the Sith Lord, Vader uses the Force to stop the AT-AT from crushing him. Most people would find that being stepped on by an AT-AT proves to be fatal, like good old Dak from Episode 5, but not Darth Vader. And number 1, killed a planet-sized creature with ease. Vader Dark Vision's number 1. This particular comic focuses on an unnamed planet that enjoyed peace for many years until an enormous monster decimated most life on the surface and forced the surviving inhabitants underground. The creature, dubbed Ender by the inhabitants, lived on the world to terrorize the survivors for several decades, until Darth Vader showed up. Crash landing on the planet during a dogfight with the Rebel Alliance, Vader stepped out of his starfighter to realize he had landed on top of the massive monster, which reared up from its sleep to kill him. This didn't seem to trouble the Sith Lord too much though, as he went about trying to kill the creature with his lightsaber, stabbing it in the eye and running his blade all over its skin. Even though the creature was armed with gigantic teeth and the ability to breathe fire, it proved to be no match for Darth, who disemboweled it, ending its life in one gruesome blow. And that was our list on the most powerful things Darth Vader's ever done in the new Star Wars canon. Have any other examples? Be sure to let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to make sure you don't miss any of our vids when they go live. As always, I've been Ewan, have a great day, and may the Force be with you. Bye!